Hello. How we doing? I'm realizing that I did not check to see if the cam input was working, but there we go. Oh, you guys can also see all my possums that I was putting on here. Look at all my little possums. Oh, I haven't changed my PNG tuber either. As you can tell, I'm not particularly prepared today, honestly. Here. Those possums can go away for a second, and I can go change my PNG tuber back to the cap one. I want to go here. Forgot to change it back after I was on Sleepy Stream the other day. I want to be this. I'm a were possum. I'm only a possum sometimes. Alright, there we go. I think that means that I can also close that, and then that's fine, and I don't need to worry about it. Man, all of my friends, went live the same time I did. So, number one, VP! Hello! Hi, Shawnee! Hi, Kvelds! Hi, Grim! Good to see y'all. I can tell that I sound stuffed up. That's because I had a modeling session last night, and they did the kind where they tone the paper first, which means I have, a metric ton of charcoal graphite dust in my sinuses. Which I'm sure is not as bad as what they have in their sinuses, but it's enough, you know. Hi, Sleepy! I also, finished my breakfast a half hour ago, so I made myself, a little snack tray that's next to me in case I get hungry. It's just, my whole schedule is a mess, my brain is a mess, my life is a mess, but we persist, you know? I also have 3 little drinks because I'm feeling so neurodivergent today, not including the paint water, which could be a drink. It's that kind of day. But yeah, how's everybody else doing? Okay, I didn't get my reference image up. Oh, I do also have an announcement. Oh, I'm sorry, Sleepy. I was, getting a migraine yesterday, and I took, a massive amount of pain pills before I went into, to model. So I think that maybe I murdered it, but I'm not really sure. Fatigue bad, I can also agree with that. Yeah, I think we're all just having a time, you know? Oh, there it is. I was like, where did I put this reference image? It's literally right there. Okay. Well, I feel like the music is louder today, but that might just be because I'm neurodiverging really hard. Is the music louder for you guys? Should I turn it down? I think it's probably just my audio processing that's the issue, because I didn't change any settings. Okay. I can turn it up for you guys if you want it to be louder. Okay. I turn it up for you. How's that? Better? Because I can maybe turn it down for me and then turn it up for you guys. This song started loud and got pretty quiet. The music is usually pretty quiet just because it keeps YouTube from getting up my ass about copyright issues. Not that full on stops them. And all of my stuff is DMCA free, but some of the remix stuff from Young Bay sometimes gets caught. It depends on how much I'm talking over it, which is so stupid. Okay, so there is one announcement to be made, which is I'm going to have new items hitting my shop on Friday before I stream. My plan is to pop those up before I go live. You guys have already seen the greeting cards, but I will show them to you again. So we have 3 greeting cards joining our merch lineup. It's not really merch. I don't know. Joining the lineup. So we have the seal that we did, we have the bearded iris, and then we have the moose, the 3 mooses. And each of those has an option of 2 envelope colors that you can pick in the shop. You can also get, you will be on Friday be able to get these things. There's also a 6-pack of all the cards, or you can get a 3-pack of the individual designs. And then also we have postcards that are going to be hitting. So we have the moose again. Here's what the back looks like. We have Empty Kettle for a postcard. We have the Lovebirds that we just finished. We have the Sweetness Potion that we did, and that's going to be the Sticker Club sticker for May. And then we also have the seal, which you've seen already. So those are going to hit the shop on Friday morning. For me, it's probably Friday afternoon for many of you, but yeah, that's happening. There's new stuff. I am planning to order the Lovebirds as a greeting card, and if I like the fuchsia enough, I'll order greeting cards of that before my greeting card company raises their prices. And then after that, I think I need to not add any new items to my shop for a while. Because the upstart cost of adding new stuff is like really bad. Thank you. Yeah, so you can get these as like postcards to actually mail. They are the right size and everything that you can put just a postcard stamp on it to send, which is less expensive than a regular stamp for like little letter mail. I can speak words. Or you can obviously get them as like a little glossy print if you wanted to just, you know, add it to your wall, or I don't know, put it in a binder or whatever else you do with these things. Tape it to the front of your journal. I don't know. I mean, you could even buy one to eat it if you wanted to, I guess. Do what you want. I'm not your mother, nor do I want to be. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the one thing I would say if you're using these prints, since they're glossy, because that's the best finish option for mailing stuff because it's water resistant. Getting like you'd get glare on it, which you could see by like when I had this tilted. You'll get glare. I am planning on at some point. I need to price those out this week. That's on my to-do list. Getting actual prints made on watercolor paper. So we will do that at some point too, which will be better for prints. I will be getting little ones as well of those. So I will, Grim. I can stretch you. Actually, I'm not that stiff today because I was careful.
Oh my god, why can't you just take the freaking bottle?
I will take a sippy. Here's my water. That's one of the 3 beverages that I have going right now. And then something nice about myself. I don't like just the black. Yeah, that's fair. I thought about that the second I said it. I called them my drinkies earlier. Thank you, Shani. My brain doesn't work. My head hurts. Oh, good. Take your time, Shawnee. No rush. I will say that I think that my eye for color is really good. How about that? I was thinking about that because at the modeling session last night, during the breaks, like for the pose, they were doing critiques of some of the art, like the students' art. And because it's a beginning drawing class, they're working all in charcoal and graphite, so it's just grayscale, right? And he was talking about how the teacher was talking about how difficult it is to translate that into color because it's just like a whole completely different skill set. And I was like, actually, I'm really good at that. So I'm better at that than I am with grayscale, honestly. I don't know. I just like color, man. But yeah, I will say that. I'm good with my colors. I like had half a thought form and then it just disappeared. I did all of those things. Yeah, I can tell that I'm tired and that my hormones are in a certain place today. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit for me because it's making me feel like I can't think. Which, to be fair, I can't ever think. But I can turn it up for you guys. And that should be vaguely around the same spot where it was before. And then the beat won't make me feel like my eyes are gonna pop out of my head. It's basically the end of the month, which, like, what the fuck? I had grand intentions for what I needed to get done this month. Yeah, all good. Thanks, Bean. Good to see you. I know Cam is live too, so I know he takes priority. I saw him go live right when I was starting up. Rainbow also started like right when I was pushing to go live, but that was pretty funny. Oh good, I'm glad that went well. Of course. I think I want to move this painting just in case, because I feel clumsy today. I don't want to spill water on it. Even though it's scanned already, it still would not be great. Okay. We're gonna actually do the flowers today. That's the plan. And I would love it if I could get this done today, but I don't think that's gonna happen. We'll see. Maybe I will surprise myself, but we've got quite a bit of work to do on this, so. First I think I wanna do like an underpainting for these leaves before I wipe all of the green off my palette to start working in pinks. Oh, is she a treat hound? Are you a light touch with the treaties? Let's see here. It would help if I actually got my brush wet. Gotcha. Gotta say, it has been a really long time since I saw a fuchsia flower in person. My grandma used to have them in her, like, I guess driveway garden is what you would call it. Because she has, like, an extended... So there's the driveway that's in front of the house, and then there's a gate. And then, like, one of those big pull-aside gates. And then there's more driveway that leads up to the actual, like, garage building that has a little studio apartment attached to it. And so in the part behind the gate, she set up, like, a bunch of potted plants and stuff and little seats and stuff for you to sit out. I just decided that I wasn't going to carve out this flower or this leaf because that was a silly choice. Let's do this a little bit. There is like a big water drop on the end of it, but we can do that as kind of the mid-ground. Same with this guy right here. Yeah, they are super pretty. I'm using a reference image from Pixabay, which is like a royalty-free site where people post their stuff and you're allowed to use it for whatever, depending on what they've set the license as when they upload it. Yeah, all good. Thanks for stopping by, Bean. Have a good one. I was just realizing, like, I guess I haven't really seen one of these in person since my grandma stopped doing her little garden. She did have a garden out back too, although a lot of that was my grandpa's because he grew up on a farm. Like a farm. and so he kind of got the backyard for his like food plants. So he had blueberries and strawberries, and he has some apple trees that are still going, and he had like rhubarb and stuff like that growing in the back. And so that was like food plants, and then the plants were my grandma's domain, and she had those out front. I need to add like some blue here to get this look how I want it. It's got, because it's wet, it's got kind of a sheen to it that has like a bluish tint. So I'm gonna need to mess with that a little bit to get it to look like how I want it. And that leaf just kind of ends right here, because that is where our stem is. I'm trying to... Oh, that's that one. Okay, yeah, okay. Miggy not remembering my own shit. I was gonna say something and now I don't remember what it was because I got distracted. I do want kind of like a couple of these things that are kind of in the midground. I do want to bring forward a little bit just to make it feel I don't know what word I was trying to say. My brain doesn't work. I have not been sleeping well. Can you tell? It's really friggin' obvious. Safe travels, Gergerby. See ya. My brother's leaving for school. Part of the reason we bought this house was because it was in walking distance to the college, and I don't drive. So sometimes he walks into class if it's nice out. It's been nice enough out. Although he's probably going to get like halfway there and it's going to start raining again. That's my bet. Because he was like looking out the window and he's like, I'm trying to decide if I want to walk today. And I was like, I don't know, it's been kind of rainy. Okay, and that's that one. I want that to stay pretty pushed back, I guess is what I mean. Ooh, there was a lot of blue. Do I have anything else important to say? I did add a little, welcome back, Shawnee. What's for Dindins today? I did add a little, fan art little slideshow. That's what I was trying to think of. I was gonna say like roulette, but that's not exactly the right word. To the BRB screen. So that'll be fun. You guys can see a bunch of fan art, because I like, especially now that I have the little possum guy, I've been getting a lot more fan art, which is great, and I love it, and it makes me so happy every single time. And I was like, I should just like put that somewhere so that people can see, and I like having something moving on all of my scenes, just so that if something freezes, you can tell right away. And I didn't really have anything for the BRB screen like that yet. Because I was at some point going to animate that layout that I have. Like the little scene with the guy stretching there. But I haven't done that. I do want to redo my BRB screen, like the background, because I want it to have like some sort of frame for the the slideshow, but I don't have time to do that right now, so I didn't. I really wanted to the other day, and I was like, nope, nope, you don't have time to do that. Do the things you need to do. Stop it. When I promptly didn't do the things I needed to do anyway. You know, it's one of those kind of brain weeks. Yeah, I feel that, Shawnee. And I think that's a fine meal. It's a good sick meal. I feel like everybody has like really different like preferred sick meals, you know what I mean? So like there's something that you want when you're sick, right? And it's just like your go-to because it's just a food that's easy to do and comforting, right? And for me, it's ramen with saltine butter sandwiches. Because that's what my dad would feed me when I was sick when I was little. I think I've talked about that on stream before. Yeah, good plan, Shawnee. Also give you a little bit of texture in there. I've kind of changed some of the leaf shapes a little bit just because I liked it better. I like some more, what's the word? I don't know, like wiggly kind of shapes. For sure. I do think that grilled cheese is like the best food ever, just in general. Because like even a bad grilled cheese is still really good, you know? And they're actually, you guys, okay, starting at the beginning of the story here. I'm really bad about like starting something in the middle and then realizing you guys will have absolutely no context for what I'm about to say because all of the story is in my brain. And I'm the only one who knows that because I'm the only one that knows my entire history. And sometimes I notice that before I start, and sometimes I don't. But there was a camp I went to when I was a kid, like a summer camp. It was a church camp specifically. But our church that I was in growing up would go there in the fall as like a church group. And then I would usually go there for a spring break camp and a summer camp. So I was there at least 3 times a year from the time when I was like, we started going there with the church when I was probably about 6 months old. Because part of my family had helped build the actual church building. And they also helped build some of the buildings at this church camp that we went to. Because my family had been in the area for a while, like my extended family. But they have like a really specific kind of foods because they have like a big cafeteria style. So you do sit at like a table and do like family style dining, which means they give you like a big bowl of the various things and then you dish for yourself at the table. But they always made their own fresh bread, which fucking slapped. Like, we love fresh bread, right? So they make their own bread, and then they would do tomato soup and grilled cheese as one of the regular meals, like the lunches specifically that they would do. So they would do grilled cheese with their fresh bread, like made that day fresh bread, and Kraft single slices. Which you would be like, why would you disrespect a piece of fresh bread like that? But it's so fucking good, and I still think about it to this day because I haven't been there since we moved from Oregon. So I haven't had it since 2006. The summer of 2006. But one of the many little wedding plans in my head that I've made up at various points in my life is having the reception, like having the wedding there, specifically on the brick patio that my great uncles laid that's there. And then having the reception be the cafeteria with their fresh bread and Kraft single grilled cheese and tomato soups. That's like one of the ideal wedding plans that I've come up with in my head over the years. Just because it's like such a personal place for me. Like that's my childhood, that place there. Like, people would just set me loose in the woods and I would eat as many huckleberries as I could find and stuff like that. And I was just there so often when I was a kid. It's very like ingrained in my head as part of my personality, you know. But yeah, that's how much I love a grilled cheese. Was the point of all of me saying all of that. But I wanted to give you the context for the specific grilled cheese that I was talking about. I would love to go back there too. It was so nice because they have a beach and a lake. So like they're right on the beach, you can just walk right on because all of the beaches in Oregon are public. So you can just like walk right onto the beach and hang out, or you can go hang out in the lake. It's so nice. I miss it. If you couldn't tell by me just being like me. Great camp. It was near also, if you guys know the brand Tillamook, which is most like dairy products. So they do a lot of like ice cream and yogurt and cheese. I think the Tillamook sharp cheddar is probably the most common thing that they have, but they also do ice cream. And the Tillamook Creamery was on the way to this camp. So you'd always, like, when you left camp, everybody stopped at the creamery to get ice cream because they also did their own fresh waffle cones. So you'd stop there on your way out of camp and you'd see everybody who you had just said goodbye to at camp. It's like a classic thing. So yeah, if you've seen that brand, know that I have been in the factory that made it multiple times. The waffle cone smell there was so good too, because they had like a little gift shop, obviously, and I would always like, we were allowed to get one thing from the gift shop when we stopped there, and then we were allowed to get ice cream. And I would always pick something that was made out of fabric for the like my item from the gift shop, because the gift shop was like right across the way from where they made all the waffle cones, so it smelled like fresh waffle cones. Fucking delicious. Yeah. If you get a chance to try their huckleberry yogurt, I would highly suggest it. Huckleberries are very particular. They don't particularly like being grown in like farms and stuff. They are not prone to being domesticated. They like to be a little wild. We respect them for this. But huckleberries are so freaking good. They're like a smaller tartar blueberry. And again, I miss them. And yay for dinner, BP. Sorry, I went deep into the Katie lore banks there for a while. You can always tell when I like haven't been sleeping well because I get way more nostalgic about the good stuff because I'm dreaming about all the shit stuff. You know? It's fine. Got a little shadow here. I think I am going to end up using like a little bit of white gouache, which means I need to put some more on my palette because we brushed off the last when I was cleaning this. I actually probably don't want to put it on quite yet. On the palette, I mean. Don't mind me digging in my barrel of paints over here. But what I can do is just grab a little bit like directly out of the tube. I don't want to put a big old blob of it on my palette and then spray it off when I clean the green off of here in a little bit. We've got like a highlight right through here. Oh, it's an ace kind of day. That's what Cabela's got too, huh? Maybe we're all just too eepy to have a sexuality today. Like, we're not interested, thank you. We just want to eat. I feel like that's kind of the vibe. This is gonna spread out more than I want, but it will give us a baseline here. And it lightens up a little bit when it dries, so it'll be fine. We also have a little bit of highlight here. Like, that might end up being too intense and I might need to go back and lighten it up, but that's okay. Pasta. For sure. Yeah, we love Ace people here, just for the record. Ace and Aero. It says specifically in my stream rules in the panel. Because I do not fucks with exclusion. And honestly, if you say outright that you support Ace and Aero people, it gets a lot of gross people out, like, right away. It's just like a fast track to make people reveal bigotry, honestly. Which is sad, but you know. Like, sorry you can't appreciate the span of human experience. Get good. Okay, I was like, that was sticky. Did I just put my hand in wet paint? No, it's just the masking fluid is a little sticky. Even when it's dry, because it's just latex, right? So I was like, oh no, what did I do? Nothing. It's fine. I think I'm going to end up needing to make that darker. I do also think I want to do something right here because there's like a really clear pencil line where this little squidgy is for this leaf. So I think I want to carve that out a little bit. Otherwise I find the line kind of distracting. I should have lightened up the lines before we started painting, but I sure didn't. So now it's going to affect how we deal with the rest of the painting. I think just something like that is fine, and I'll probably go back through and make this other bit a little more yellow to make that clear, because we've got some lines in here too. So I might just do like a little bit of a carve out. Yeah, so this is flowers, so we can just kind of do like a vague shape of flower, which is what the pencil lines are doing. So, you know, did simplify them quite a bit before too. But I also need to be careful to not make it too close to this flower that's going to be in the foreground color-wise. I can do like a couple of these right through here. Get like vague concept of flower. Flower in a dream, and you're forgetting it as you wake up. That's the vibe here. Like right through here, and then there's a deeper purple. Right here. Easy peasy. I was gonna say lemon squeezy, but we don't really have any lemon squeezy here, huh? Also a little bit more purple right here. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna add more yellow to that once that dries, but it has not dried yet. I do also need to do the stem here, which is kind of like a lighter pink color, but it does match the actual flowers at some of the points, because which makes sense, like the plant is making the same pigments for all of this. But let me work on this guy a little bit actually, because he gets pretty dark up towards the top. I think just adding some Prussian blue in with that is the play. That's too blue. That's better. That like that, and then tis the vibe. And then we'll need to mess with the water drop after I pull the masking fluid off. It's another one of those days where like everything is taking conscious effort. So I'm just like, I'm tired. My start. You know how some days like you wake up and you're just like, I have woken up. This is great. And you have like a little bit of time to get used to existence. And you get to just like hang out for a little bit and you're like, all right, I'm ready for the day now. That was not the kind of morning that I had. I kind of like woke up and was immediately tossed into a bunch of like minefield situations. So I was like, all right. We're just gonna be intense today. That's the vibe. Apparently. Okay, I think that carves out that leaf shape without like going too hard on it. Just so that those pencil lines make a little bit more sense. This is getting somewhere, and I can tell that we're getting somewhere with it, but it's still just like, ugh. I need to think about it. Okay, I do need to make one of these spaces just more pigmented so that it stands out from the background better. It's not like particularly difficult, it'll just take a little bit longer because we'll need to build up some layers. Ooh, my jaw just popped. I love how like I started my palette with like separate colors on the mixing surface and it's just ended up being like everything all over the place. There is no separate situation. Oh yeah, fair, Shawnee. Like aside from just like I need to get this work done, I'm also like getting a bunch of stuff ready for having surgery, which is rapidly approaching. So, like, I still have a few things I really need to do. Like, I really need to figure out draining, like, the snake I got to work on our drains. I really need to do that for my bathtub before I have surgery, which I don't have a lot of spare time. I also need to print out the sticker clip stickers for June so that I don't have to worry about those quite so much. And yeah, I actually, you know what, Shawnee, I think we might be panicking about a similar situation, actually. Judging by our, well, that's one of the things, at least, judging by our previous conversations. Teehee. I don't know, I think I picked up teehee from both Trish and Lib. But I never say teehee as in like an actual haha. I say teehee as in like an existential crisis. No, don't worry about it. It's just the trauma. Teehee. The most tired old man teehee you've ever heard in your life. Because holy cow. Also, the politics. The politics have been very bad. Like, yes, they're always bad. Yeah, exactly, Shawnee. It's not like a teehee, like, we're having funsies. It's a teehee, like how a kettle fucking screams, you know? Hi, Coconut. I did simplify this stem shape quite a bit, which might come back to bite us in the ass. We'll see. But I'm the ruler of my own domain. I can make it do whatever I want. This is also just like some stem, and then a bud that like goes behind this other fuchsia flower. So that can go like right there. Good, I'm glad, Coconut. And trying to balance where this is pigmented versus where it's shadowed on the stem especially is going to be a little bit difficult. I think just looking at how it looks on camera right now, though, I think we're on the right track there. Because again, it's one of those things where just because something looks a certain way in the realism, like the photo, it doesn't mean that the way, if you copy it exactly the same way into realism, I can't speak, it won't always feel right to the human brain. So just like getting the vibe correct is more important than getting it like perfectly realistic. Especially since I'm doing like a stylized situation anyway. Because I don't really do full realism. I do realism, but well, ish. But I dial the saturation up a lot. Same with contrast. I just like a lot of contrast and I like a lot of saturation. It was like that with my photography too, actually, because I did take like a proper film photography class when I was in college. And once I figured out my exposure levels, because I way underexposed stuff, well, overexposed stuff a lot. Sorry, wrong direction. So I had to alter that when I was processing my own film. But I also just did like really intense contrast in all of my prints that I did, and the teacher like commented on it. It was like, "You really like this contrast, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, you want a dark and you want a light. Like, that's how you make it look good. And the teacher wasn't like being mean to me or anything. It was just like a side comment, like, this is kind of your style. This is a thing that you like. Yeah, isn't it fun, Shawnee? Although I will say, figuring out how to roll the film onto the little, I forget what that's called. The little wheel thing. The spool. Thank you, Shawnee. God, I was like, what's that word? Was like a challenge. I would regularly end up with mine like crooked. It's like you're doing it in 100% darkness. It's wild. And like you have to do it entirely by feel. So like, fuck you if you get it wrong. You can't see. Hi, Tomato. Good to see you. Oh yeah, that's another thing I had to put on my, yeah, frams. We're frams. That's another thing I had to put on my to-do list today. I'm getting another commission from Tomato, and I need to make a proper ref sheet. Which I thought of because, as I mentioned before, I put a fan art slideshow on my BRB screen. And when I was getting those all together, I was like, you know what I need? I need my Meep Sheep to do a little please. And I don't need it for an emote or anything. I just need it. I need it to have it. Yeah, because it would be so cute. And we need to give Tomato more practice drawing breasts. I think that's the other thing. It will help Tomato grow as an artist. And if I can provide anything, it is tit. Yeah, exactly. Like, if I have anything to share with the world. Yeah, that's basically what we did in the class. So there was enough that all of us practiced with like messed up ones that the teacher just had, because like you can't just learn how to do that by feel without ever looking at it, you know? Like that is impossible for realsies. And I still had trouble with it. Trying to like make that look like it's going over the bokeh light, and I don't know that it's working. Yeah, I've tried to grow stuff here, but specifically this house is too cold in the winter for me to actually start seedlings at the appropriate time, and our backyard is like really bad for plants. Like it's just too shaded for any of the stuff that I would want to grow. So I just have to appreciate from afar. Not that one. This is what I'm doing. I have considered just like doing an avocado seed or something just for shits and giggles. I think also just doing like chives or something would be nice, but again, our house is so cold that I don't think it'll work. Oh man, you know what? I also have some sourdough starter that my friend gave me when I was in Portland. And I was gonna start it nearer summer because, again, I think our house is too cold for it to be happy right off. And I don't know that I'm actually gonna start that this summer. It kind of depends on how surgery goes, cause like I feel like maybe handling a bunch of yeast with an open wound that is near a place that gets a lot of yeast infections is like maybe tempting the fates a little too hard. Yeah, see, the problem is our windows are super cold. So like this house was built in like 1972. And so the windows that are in the bedrooms have been replaced, but the 1972 windows are still in all of like the living spaces. Because that's what we had to do to get it up to fire code when we bought it. So it's cold in here. I feel like maybe I'm spending too much time on these leaves, but it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. No, see, it's not a light issue. It's like a cold issue. Like, the house is too cold. Like, I also think it's cold. Like, I have a space heater in my room, running all the time until summer. And I also bought a space heater to put in the living room because I was getting too cold when I was streaming. And we have those running all the time. Like, well, they're on, like, timers to keep up a certain temperature, but, it's not good for plants, which is fine. I don't really need plants. It's okay. I don't know how to phrase this. I don't need to put any living being to suffer just because it would make me feel better, you know? I'm not gonna do that to a poor little plant. They don't deserve it. Yeah, ferric felt. I might. But I also, like, I guess this isn't as much of an issue anymore, but when I was trying to do that, we were traveling a lot and pretty often, and we didn't really have a house sitter who could, like, actually show up every day to water plants, you know? So that's another reason why I didn't do it. But I don't know. We'll see. Things change. Maybe it'll change. But not right now. I got other things to worry about. It definitely is a far cry from Oregon where I grew up because we had, like, well, my mom was bad at keeping plants alive, but we did have quite a few of them. Especially the house that we lived in, like, right before we moved to Alaska, had pear and apple trees, which was really fun. And meant that we were, like, trying so hard to figure out how to use, like, 3 trees worth of apples suddenly and without warning, because we didn't realize that the trees were actually, like, fruiting trees. We just thought that they were, you know, trees hanging out. Yeah, also very true, Shawnee. Yeah, keeping stuff native is good. I have considered getting some native seed mixes to stick in our yard in the front, because, like, we don't mow it because, one, it's a pain in the ass, and 2, we really don't have the time because it's very steep and bumpy. Yeah, we made a lot of applesauce. I made applesauce cake a lot. I made apple cookies. I made apple loaves. I just, like, tossed them at school all the time. Apples to apples. Bust to bust. I don't know. Maybe that's me? I don't know. That's just what my brain came up with. Okay, those do feel like leaf shapes. This guy is still feeling a little funky to me. And I think that's partially just because it's in a lot of light. Yes, exactly, tomato. I do think taking a smaller brush and adding some veins on here will make me feel better. a little bit, but also I think that the water droplet is not reading yet, so I think that I need to work on that a little bit more, because like I think I need a smaller brush for that actually. Let me do that. I love rhubarb. Yeah, yeah, so many apples. That's a lot. I also don't like pears. So when we had like a pear tree, I was like, oh god, no, please. Because like, I get that a lot of people like pears. I'm glad you like pears. But like, they only are a good texture for approximately 3 seconds out of their entire lifetime. And that 3 seconds is never when you are eating them. And I can't do it. Oh yeah, zucchini and squash go insane. Yeah, I'm definitely not a pear person. Which is fine. I don't need to like everything. Not everything is about me. It's just one of those things where it's like one of those fruits where it's like there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but I just don't think the flavor is good enough to qualify the horrendous texture they get. Which, like, hello, I'm neurodivergent. Did you know that? I think I need to put like a little highlight down there too. Yeah, zucchini bread is good. I prefer brain, please. Pumpkin bread. Personally. I know, right? We diverge in those neuros, baby. Yeah, I always spice mine up really heavily too. Cause like, what's the point if you aren't gonna spice it? Like that's what's good. That's what tastes good. Cause I also really love pumpkin pie. Like that was my favorite growing up, and I would have my mom make it for my birthday often instead of cake. But I also, when I make anything pumpkin, I add a little bit of white pepper to the standard mix, and I usually bump up the spices a fair amount. I want, like, many of my ancestors destroyed a lot of the world to get the spices. I'm gonna use them, and also they taste good. Like, just use them. So I like bump up all of the spices in there, and then also add some white pepper in. Which I think slaps. Not everybody agrees with me, but they don't need to eat my cooking, so. Yeah, I think that you should pump your Nana whenever you want, Shawnee. I think that's your right. Maybe that's a little better. Hoping that it doesn't really read as Watcher. Maybe the white is a little bit too intense for a lot of this. I also think I need to change the shadow right here. Yeah, I think combining stuff like that is always fun. And banana is a substitute, like an egg substitute. So you could just, for those, replace the egg with banana and see how it goes. Because then you will have made a delicious vegan treat, right? Because most of those kind of breads have oil in them instead of butter, so oil is good for quick breads. And, I mean, considering egg prices, I think maybe that's just an economical idea. And I'm not a big fan of bananas in general. I don't know. The flavor is very overpowering. So like for instance in a smoothie, if you make a smoothie with a banana in it, it's a banana smoothie. There's nothing else in there. It doesn't matter what else you put in. You only taste the banana. At least to me. That's what it's like. And like I will eat a banana, but I have to be in the right mood for a banana. Which is pretty rare. Although my brother has bananas in the house a lot, so like if I want one, I have access to them. But I do find them to be like a very overwhelming flavor when it's in with other stuff. Although I think if you spiced up your pumpkin, it would stand up pretty well. It would be very moist too, that cake. Well, bread, you know what I mean. Yeah, I can understand the texture too. Yeah, sometimes you need a banana. That's just how it works. Like sometimes you wake up and you're like, I need to eat a banana right now or I'm going to perish. And that is so valid. And you should listen to your body when it tells you what to do, generally speaking. Unless, I don't know, I can't listen to my body when I have anxiety, though. Because walking into the mud flats and disappearing into a glacier is not a safe choice for me. Even though that's what my anxiety tells me what to do. Nanners! You need nanners. Oh, that's so funny. I have one of Trish's emotes because she hates bananas. Is this. And I love using that in situations where people are talking about not liking bananas because it's just so specific and everybody gets tickled by it. And they're just like, why do you have that emote? That's such a specific emote. Why do you have that? Because not everybody likes bananas, okay? Okay. What do I want to do? I don't, is the answer. Yeah, she no like the banana. Which is fair. Much prefer like apples in general, and I eat a lot of oranges just because those travel really well, and where I live, everything has to get shipped in. So, yeah, it's fun with specific emotes. I think the pickle emote gets a lot of play in streams that have the fishing minigame because one of the items you can get is Big Mama Pickle. And so whenever we see somebody get the Big Mama Pickle, we post my big pickle. I am glad that everybody loves that emote so much. But hyper-specific emotes are always fun, honestly. I just let Shuffle decide what the first song today was from the playlist. Yes! So real, Shawnee. Naughty pears go in the pear wiggler. Yeah, I liked Fijis a lot when I was a kid, and my mom said we couldn't have them very often because they were expensive. Which is fine. Like that's not a big issue. But we bought a bunch of them a little bit ago because they were for sale at Costco and they were like really cheap. And my brother also remembered that mom wouldn't let us have Fiji because they were so expensive. And they weren't expensive, and so Greg was like, "Well, I'm gonna get these because they aren't expensive. I thought they were expensive," and we blasted through those. Ooh, Cosmic Crisp sounds good. I really like Honey Crisp too. I want to do a little texture to that guy. I don't know that I've had a Cosmic Crisp, but it sounds delicious. I will tell you what is not delicious. Red Delicious apples. Illegal. That is just straight up, like, lying. That thing is not delicious. It sure do be red, though. But, like, no. You cannot tell me that apple is delicious. It tastes like nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like, they are just straight up lying. We should actually, you know what? I live in a country that is really incredible for suing everybody for stupid reasons, and sometimes legitimate reasons, but a lot of stupid reasons. I should sue Apple companies as a whole for calling those Red Delicious because they sure as shit are not. I don't think you guys are going to hear me, but if you hear me chewing, I apologize. I'm eating off my little snack plate. I know some people are really specific about not hearing chewing sounds, and I think I picked foods that mostly won't be an issue for that, but I've got a lot of snack. So this is technically my lunch because I finished breakfast like right before I started streaming because my schedule has been shot in the head, knee, and foot. So I've got a chopped up Granny Smith apple. I have, which is old and therefore shouldn't be too crispy crunchy. I think it'll be okay. I have 2 hard-boiled eggs that have been chopped into quarters. I have some mozzarella balls, with some balsamic reduction, and then I have some like flatbread to go with that because I really should use up the rest of this balsamic reduction. So yeah, it's like if girl lunch was an actual meal, I guess. Although all of my girl lunches are generally like a balanced meal. Oh, I also have an Olipop because I always have one of those with lunch. I still have not listened to ACS's new album. I'm realizing that. That's a good choice. I do that quite often. Okay. I'm at the point where I want to wash this green off the palette. I think yes, that feels more like a water drop now. I'm happy with that. I did make it more of a drop than it actually is, but I think it vibes. I do think this maybe I need a little bit more work on, so maybe we'll do that first. I 100% just put the wrong end of the paintbrush into the water. It's that kind of day. I think I need a more intense shadow here, just so that it's clear that this leaf is curled. Again, is this really photo accurate? No. Does it feel better? Yes. That's better. Okay. Okay, rinsing off palette. I have the spray bottle in the other room. That's okay. I can just use paint water. Yeah, I 100% do, Shawnee. Most of the time, for my paintbrushes, because they have like this angled edge, it's not so bad because it has a very distinct, different feeling than the front. So I rest this part against my lip a lot and kind of like on the end. But so far I have not put a full-on paintbrush in my mouth. So far. I do not trust in my capability to continue to not do that. Okay. Let me just wipe up this green. I can mix new green if I need it, but we really don't need the green to be taking up the entire palette right now. Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I have a messy hand emote for a reason. Like, me too. I'm no better than a 4-year-old using finger paints. Yeah, well, finger painting, like, you're gonna get messy, so I feel like, well, kids are gonna get messy, like, if you're doing it, you will also get messy, you know that, but, I feel like because you know that kids are gonna get messy, you prepare better for finger painting than you would for another kind of painting, you know? Like if you're doing watercolor painting with kids, they have a brush, so you think that the paint stays on the brush, and therefore you don't lay down a bunch of paper or anything. That's wrong. You're gonna get paint everywhere. So I feel like it's a failure to prepare the same way. You know what I mean? I actually should get some wet wipes. That would be helpful to have around. Alright. I think I want to carve out the stem a little bit first, just because I don't like it. Exactly, Shani. Honestly, I used, part of the reason that spray bottle that I've been using is in the other room is because my feet were fucking filthy when I came home from modeling last night, because I just walk around in bare feet on like a concrete floor where a bunch of drawing students are using loose charcoal and loose graphite. So my feet were like black underneath, and I was like, I don't want to get in bed with my feet like this. So I grabbed the spray bottle and sprayed my feet down and washed my feet before I got into bed. And usually it's pretty easy to wipe off, but it was intense It was intense because they've been doing toned paper, which means that you put a bunch of like either charcoal or graphite powder onto the page to make it your mid-tone. And then you add more dark for your darks, and then you pull up with an eraser for your lights. Which means that like there's just dust everywhere. And that's that's only if anybody hasn't dropped one of their containers of it, which happens all the time. Oh, actually, that reminded me, Shawnee. I know this isn't what you meant, but I need to remember to bring my sewing kit with me next Monday because one of the cushions that they have there is dying. Like, I've repaired at least 3 different sections of the seams on that pillow, and I think I'm just going to go through and do the whole thing in breaks. Yeah, I gotta remember. Hi, Al. Good to see you. How's it going? I will hydrate. Thank you. I'll also do a stretchy. Thank you. Ugh. Oh, also, this is like not even vaguely related, but it's my stream, so I gotta say where I went. Tomorrow is Admin Professional Day, which means that if you know somebody who's like a receptionist or a secretary or just an admin assistant, you should wish them a happy Administrative Professionals Day. Okay. I was thinking about actually reminding you today anyway, so that works. What I'm gonna do... What do I want to do? I don't want to do anything. What I'm gonna do is leave a note in the DMs with my boyfriend that I don't send, so that when I go to talk to him next, I will see it. Hashtag brain hacks. Actually, Tomato has also said that he's willing to do a voice line for that, so I think that I'm going to do like a mix. Because Tomato also said that they would do go piss your, I mean they, which I think is really funny because that's like the rare like a rare chance to show up for that redeem. So it's mostly go piss girl, and then there's like the Ryan Gosling meme where it's like go piss girl, I mean they. Since I am one of them she days, you know. I was thinking about something else. What was it? I also want to remind Cap to get those voice lines because I would love to get them switched over soon. I was actually talking to Tomato about that yesterday. I did hydrate and stretchy. Thank you, Shawnee. Good. I'm glad you put the pear wiggler in the Discord, Shawnee. Sorry. Since I was doing that, I'm like, I need to get rid of all these notifications or my brain will explode. Okay. I was working on, okay. You just thought of 3 separate things to do at once. Pick one. I hate that thing where, like, you think of one thing you were going to do, and then your brain is like, okay, but what about these other 30 things? And then you just kind of do, like, a little stand-in spot and go, ugh, because your brain won't let you decide which one is priority. the indecision dance, I guess. Also been sneezing a lot today because of the charcoal from yesterday. Ugh, I'm over it. Okay. Yeah, pretty much, honey. I basically blow black sludge out of my nose for 3 days after a modeling session. Like, if I end up getting the black lung, you'll know why it happened. Okay. There's darker pigmentation up closer to the stem. Then we also have some shadows. So I think doing the darker pigmentation in pink and magenta, and then using blue, which will make purple for the shadows, is the play here. And we'll see how that goes, I guess. The students are always surprised when I tell them that happens too. Because, like, they aren't allowed super close to me, right? So, like, nobody is within, like, 6 feet of me at any given moment. Oh, this is fuchsia flowers, for the color of the month, which is magenta. And we've done the background because I wanted to do like a bokeh light effect, and I wasn't sure how to do that because I haven't tried to do it before. So we focused on that for like 2 separate streams. And now we're working on the foreground a little bit. So you can kind of see by the outline what they're going to be. But I can show you guys the reference too. The little blobs here are water droplets. So this is masking fluid, just so that I keep the white there so that I can shade those separately. But this is the reference image for this. So fuchsia flowers, and then wow. Thank you, KK Writer. And I have changed it a bit from like what the reference image is, but that's just what making art is, honestly. It's just changing shit. I may use like a tiny bit of yellow in the highlights on the stem. It's because I feel like one of the things, and I was talking about this earlier because my compliment for myself today that Grim made me do was that I'm really good with color, and specifically color shading. Because one of the things about color that makes it interesting versus grayscale is that different colors read as different values, even though they aren't. So yellow, like, you can shade a single color with just that color. Like, that's a possible thing to do, and that's how you do grayscale, right? So it's just black and white, and you're using all of the variance in between that. So you can just use, like, more and more pigment to make something dark. But there's also, like, a light value 2 different colors. So for instance, yellow is a bright color. So on things like red and orange and pink, Using a little bit of yellow in the highlights makes it read as a highlight, even though there's more pigmentation there. And then using like blue in the low lights makes it feel more like a shadow. And kind of gives you a better rounded kind of situation. And feeling in general. So it's just like another thing that's a super specific art thing you gotta figure out, which is why it can be a lot of work to figure that stuff out. I am doing like the edges of this with the intention that if it gets framed, that will be covered. So I'm not like taking it all the way to the edge of the page in like the same level of detail. And just add some yellow in here. I think that will also make it feel a little bit more like plant matter versus just doing straight pink, because like plants do have some, you know, green and such to them. So adding a little bit of yellow will kind of make that vibe happen, I think. I like that. Yeah, I think that's close. I am making this more pigmented than it is in the actual reference, but again, if I'm putting color in, I want it to be like a lot of color. I just want lots of color. So otherwise, what's the heckin' point? Okay, I did change the shape of that quite a bit, but I think it's fine. And yeah, Monkey Brain likes to pick fruits and stuff that are bright and colorful, which is why we get the like intense urge to eat dice and stuff. We look at it and we go, "That's edible." That's your little monkey brain going, fruits. I want a fruit. Yummy fruit. Okay. Oh. Yes, I would. The outside for sure, and then if you get ones that are like the right kind of brightness, the inside is too. I definitely did make a list of magenta colored fruits as one of the things that I was thinking for this month. And then I decided to do like flowers because I thought that would make a nice greeting card. And I knew that I wasn't really going to have as much time as I wanted to do like a fruit still life kind of a situation or like a little fruit sticker pack or something. Because so I dialed myself back a little bit because I was like, this is going to stress you out and it's going to be too much work for what you can get done this month. So don't do that. But there is a secret project that I've only told one person about that I've had paper cut for like 5 years that would have started matching this color this month, some of it. So I need to make more of my like little color sample cards because we're running low. So the polls for the past few months have been very samey because I only have a few left. So I think I'm gonna tilt some of the colors towards that project, and we can see when we get actually started on it. I have not, Shawnee. I mostly take photos and then work off of the photo instead of working off of like real life stuff, just because I don't really have someplace I can set up well for a still life and leave it there where I would have a consistent light source because of the way this house is set up and because of how much time we have, like, or how much like space we actually have as a whole. So no, I haven't done that, but it's definitely on the radar. Do I want to darken those up in the background or no? I don't know. I think I do the foreground and then figure out if I want to darken up those guys. Where do I want to start? That's the next question. The smart place is to start over here so that I'm not dragging my hand through wet paint. We're gonna think that through for a hot second, for once. For once! I do have a little bit of stem here that I need to work through. Also, that wasn't attached to the other one, so I wasn't paying super close attention to